Hey everybody, welcome back to ChallengeYourself.blog. I've got a new video for the robotic hand I've been working on, so let's get to it. So I've done a redesign of the carpal section of the robotic hand that I've been working on. And as you can see, there is now an assembly. So there's a top piece, a middle piece, bottom piece, the thumb joint. There's an attachment that I can take the joint off, and this inner member is also replaceable. So now basically the whole hand is basically replaceable parts. One of the things that I really disliked, there were several things about the original design that I didn't really care for. It was a great educational experience when I was building it, but after I had the finished product, I realized that there were a lot of shortcomings. So I'll kind of walk through some of those. One being one universal piece. If anything was broken, I would have to reprint the whole thing, and disassembling everything just for one carpal section, it was less than optimal. What I also quickly learned after trying to thread all of the tendons across the palm or the back of the hand was these two pieces were great for holding that, but if I was going to replace anything, I would have to disassemble everything, unthread everything, and it was a very painstaking process. Plus, as you can see, I've cut a lot of the ends off the tendons, and there used to be little loops on the ends of this. And what I ran into was when I would tie these things off, kind of like, since this is fishing line, I would basically tie loops, basically the same loops that you see here, together, because the way that this is threaded, you end up with two strings that come down and they run through individual channels, or at least 3 threads on each side, coming together as one before going through the tendon sheath. Well, I found, or through the palm section where the tendon sheath would go. Essentially, I guess you could call this a tendon sheath, but it's a hard one. And what I didn't like about it was these little loops would not easily go through here, and connecting it, disconnecting it, I wasn't very happy with how the design turned out. Another issue that I ran into was this carpal section was a lot smaller than I anticipated, and the bottoms of the metacarpals were very close together. So essentially, if I was shaking the hand of this robot, I would instantly be crushing all of the metacarpals. Another thing that I was working on, you can see there are bolts or screws in each of the metacarpals and in the phalanges themselves. The problem that I ran into was the dimensions, or the way that these were threaded in, they weren't equal. Plus, the kit that I had, I was running out of screws very quickly. So I ran a test piece and tried designing the hooks right into each of the pieces, and it turned out that they have enough strength, at least, to test out. Now, if this thing was made out of metal or a stronger material, so far I haven't broken them off very easily, so I'm not too worried about strength at this point. So as you can see, the rubber bands are all crisscrossed across the joint, going from hook to hook. The strength seems to be okay for doing that. I haven't been able to break any of these off, just in putting these things together. So far so good. One of the other things that I was not very happy with in the original design, so I had this outer member, and it connected well with the inner member of the metacarpal, but the screws that I had in place were basically the fingers would join together. The screws and the nuts seemed to unscrew on their own automatically, and that can be a problem. Again, I was running out of screws very quickly, and the way that I had this design, when the rubber bands were hooked on, when the finger was extended all the way, everything was fine. But as soon as I flexed the finger at the proximal joint, the force of this would cause it to kind of fold over, and I'd end up with kind of a mess at the joint. So this joint is getting a full redesign. Actually, I'm going to be going through all of the phalanges and doing a complete redesign of this. I like the loops that I had. I thought it looked kind of neat from an aesthetic standpoint. But I think I'm going to go with something a little bit more simple, and make like a finger pad, because I can do an infill. I can build a shell, or maybe even have a shell that pops off like a cover, so you can get to the tendons and the tendon sheaths very easily, and then pop a cover on there. I haven't fully decided on how I'm going to do that, and a lot of it comes as I'm doing the design. I make some pieces. They don't usually take that long to print, surprisingly. And while they're printing, I can continue doing more design work, or I'll walk away and I'll be thinking about it while I'm doing something else. But it really has been a lot of fun. As actually you can see here, one of the nuts is coming off the screw, and they'll just pop off randomly, and it doesn't really take that much. I probably put a lock washer on there, but the screws aren't very long. It starts becoming kind of a design issue. I had a lot of holes for places that I thought that the tendon sheet, or that the tendons would end up running through, and as I started assembling this, I found that it wasn't optimal to try to thread and rethread and unthread, and it was just kind of a pain. So I kind of abandoned that, and I think that's why I'm going to go with something that's actually more biologically designed. So yeah, basically getting back to basics, but yeah, it's coming along very well. I was very happy with how this new carpal section turned out. Oh, the Velcro is also something I added as a quick change, so I can wrap and unwrap front or back. It's basically one long piece, but I can definitely get access to tendons and tendon sheaths a lot quicker than with this old design. Even the metacarpals themselves have screws and hex nuts in them, and this kind of added some additional strength and ability to, like, if I broke some of the hooks off, I can just print the end instead of having to print the whole thing. It saves a lot of time. There is a little bit of added time in the assembly itself, but from a development standpoint, and if this thing was doing any work, it'd be a lot easier to replace parts and a lot quicker. So that's it today for the robotic hand update. I do have a few other things that I've been working on. I just created another channel specifically for cryptocurrency. I've been getting into that over the last year, and basically it'll be short how-tos, primarily focusing on shorts. So it'd be like 1 minute, 2 minute videos on just some things that I've learned along the way. I also have some old video game footage that I hadn't been able to get to, and I do have one other experiment that's tied to the robotic arm or hand project that I've been working on, and it's a pneumatic muscle, and I I put basically everything together. I just need to run the experiment. I have to hook it up to my compressor, and uh, there's some other stuff that needs to go into it. But when I do the experiment, I plan on trying to record the video footage and kind of walk through what I'm doing and how it turns out, and kind of report back on that. So that's basically it in a nutshell. I'll have all the links to some of the new crypto channel and some other stuff that's going on. So hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and I will talk to you soon.